guys, I'm back and today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me. I haven't done one in a while and I figured I would break out my good old Pan That palette and chat about what's been going on because I know I have not been very consistent with my uploads since like July, if I'm being honest with myself, since April. So we're here, we're sitting down, I'm gonna do my makeup, I'm getting ready for a date night, and without further ado, let's hop straight into getting stuff onto my face. I'm gonna start out with this Visay primer. This is like a green color correcting primer. This is what I've been doing. I think I finally figured out how I feel about this primer. It's nice, but it feels like texturally in the way it blends out, it feels like an SPF that is slightly green tinted, more so than a color corrector that also has SPF. You know what I mean? Like, Hannah Louise Poston talks about this sometimes, especially when she was on her tinted lip balm search, is like makeup that is like makeup and skincare hybrid. There's like a gradient, and sometimes things fall more on the makeup side of things, whether that has to do with pigment, texture, the way it applies, the way it wears. And sometimes things fall more into the skincare realm of things. I think a great example of this is like Jones Road, which I've never tried, but it's marketed as kind of like skincare that has pigment versus It Cosmetics CC cream is like makeup that has skincare. This feels like skincare that has pigment. And I thought when I bought it, it was going to be makeup that has skincare, makeup that has SPF. So it's nice, but I wouldn't go scouring the depths of like Amazon or anything to try and find a replacement once I get it used up. I am almost done with this NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. And I'm really getting the last little bits out of it. And I'm really excited kind of to like have this one used up. Then I just have a couple like BB cream type things, and then I can maybe repurchase this or try something new. I don't know. I feel like foundation is one of those categories that I go through the quickest, and I'm the most likely to try something new every single time. I feel like I don't repurchase foundations a lot. I did when I first started, but that's because, well, that's largely because I was purchasing my foundations primarily from the drugstore. So like Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, I definitely bought multiples of those. The CoverGirl 3-in-1 Outlast, I think that's what it was called. It was that glass bottle with like a blue pump, and it was supposed to be like a primer, foundation, and concealer in one, which meant it was just a really high coverage foundation. Oh god, I would buy that in like middle and high school in the wrong shade. I in high school could never find my shade. This is a little darker than what I actually am right now, and I feel like by the time I blend it out and put on like concealer, bronzer, powder, it's not a big deal. You can't really tell. But boy, I would buy something that matched like the palest part of my face and I would look like a ghost, or I would buy something that was like the darkest part of my face during the summer and then not blend it out like back here. It was a mess. We all have those times in our lives where we're experimenting with a new look or a new technique, and you go back and you look at photos and you're like, why? I really left the house that day thinking I ate, that I did a great job, and now I can see that I did not. Which is why when people now ask me like, oh wow, like I love your makeup, like where did you learn to do that? I'm like, well, I was bad at it for a very long time. And I kept practicing and practicing and practicing and looking back at old mistakes and going, that was not it. That was too much foundation, or that foundation doesn't match me, or whatever. And I learned. Now, do I think I'm, Scott Barnes or Lisa Eldridge? No. I think I'm pretty okay at doing my face. There's a handful of people where I feel like I'm pretty good at doing their face, but those are usually my friends who I've also had trial and error on. The best was in high school when my friend would text me and she'd be like, oh my god, I need you in the bathroom right now. Like, it's an emergency. And I'd come in and she'd be like, great, can you do my makeup during break? So I've had a lot of practice on her. Getting just a little bit of powder. I'm really loving this Anastasia Beverly Hills powder. I bought it at the recommendation of Kevin and Johnny from the Beautiful and Bothered podcast. I do really I feel like I'll go on a binge where I'll watch like 7 episodes in a row, and then I kind of won't watch for a couple of weeks and then rinse and repeat. Watch like 3 to 6 episodes. Or I'll go back and I'll watch old ones sometimes in my binging. Because I love when they critique like certain award show makeups. I think they have a really interesting point of view of kind of like professional makeup artists are doing this makeup, so we expect it to be a certain level, and B, like, it's supposed to be a little fun. Like, the Met Gala should be a little funky, or, versus like the Oscars usually is more demure of a look. So I was watching their one from the Met Gala last year. Or this year, earlier this year. That sounds right. The Met Gala's in like the spring. Anywho's, I said I was going to talk about me and what's going on in my life, and I've done none of that. So here we are. Life has been busy, and I have been not great at prioritizing various things in my life. So it's not just this. I have been very much prioritizing making friends, which is good for me. If you don't know, I recently moved halfway across the country for work, and then I have been prioritizing work a lot because it's been a very busy transition moving me out here. So I have been really enjoying this period and really trying to make the most of time. So, if there's an opportunity to go shadow or go learn something, I've been jumping on it work-wise. If there's an opportunity to hang out with someone on the weekend or after work, I've been jumping on it, and it means I have been not filming. Or I film and then it sits in my camera roll for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I never get around to it. I've also, and I'm not great about this either, been doing that thing where I have to film a Project Pan update, and I'm like, oh, I just have 3 more uses on this product. I'll just use it up and then I'll film my update, and then, something will get in the way, and then I don't, and then it's 3 weeks later. And the product still isn't even used up yet. I should just filmed it when it was scheduled to go up. So it's nothing bad is happening. I just went through a phase where unfortunately this wasn't a priority, which is too bad because I do really enjoy doing this. I've been thinking a lot about what I want to do next year as far as series and content, how often I want to upload, and also what project pans, if any, that I want to do. Stone Says Hello is a very lovely viewer, and I love viewing their channel. They left a couple of comments over various videos where I've mentioned this with suggestions. So I've been ruminating over those a lot and watching other people's different kinds of projects. For example, No Pan Left Behind is a great one, or Pan in Every Palette are ones that I've never done before. So that's mostly been what I've been thinking about as far as next year is what I want to do, and I think I want to try some new things, and I also think I want to set realistic expectations for myself. Not do the New Year's resolution thing where you're like, I'm going to be a completely different person next year. I am never going to forget to edit a video for 3 weeks. I'm probably going to do it again, but that's okay. I do still really enjoy uploading. I've been really enjoying some of the more creative videos I've been doing, like the looks inspired by the Life of a Showgirl songs. I really loved the father figure look I did, and then a friend of mine who does watch my videos sometimes texted me and she's like, girl, where's the tutorial? So I was talking her through what I did, and it was just so sweet, like, I don't know, getting to connect over makeup in that way. So I think that's going to kind of be like the guiding principle, is like connecting over makeup. I'm committed to using up this bronzer. I use it as like eyeshadow like every single day to try and get it used up by the end of the month, because this thing never ends. It's killing me. Well, it's not killing me. This is like one of the smallest problems to have, but I've been using this for like 6 years straight, it feels like. Maybe like 5 years straight. But I even had it and used it pretty regularly for a couple years before I started like panning it on and off. Because I've had it in multiple project pans to use up. This is from my Tarte Park Avenue Princess palette, and I used up individual pans from that palette. And this is the last one. So like, as a cost per use, that palette was great. Unfortunately, as far as like inclusivity, that's usually not Tarte's strong suit. And I say that in like shades. Like, I could use all 4 shades of the palette. If I can get away with using all 4 shades, using various like hand, like a very light hand in the darkest shade when I'm more tan, it's not an for everyone palette. It's not for all skin tones, which is too bad. So for the rest of December, I'm just going to be focusing on my Project Pan products, mostly my Pan That palette, I think, because I'm really determined to hitting just a handful of more pans in that project before the end of the year. So now I'm dipping into Sequin Ritual, and I'm just going to start building that up in the outer corner. I'm wearing like a black tank top and like burgundy pants, so I think I just want to do kind of like a brown, bronzy, smoky eye. And then I'm trying to decide if I want to do like kind of a burgundy-ish lip. We're going to an Italian restaurant, so I don't think that lip's gonna last a long time once I start getting cheese and pasta into my mouth, but it's nice to look nice for the first 10 minutes you're there for me. One thing I will say, and I don't think this is a Tati Beauty thing, I think this palette is 6 years old because I ordered it in like fall of 2019 thing. These brown, like these shadows do, I feel like, fade just ever so slightly. And that's okay. It honestly kind of makes these darker browns a little bit more approachable for me. But unfortunately, it's hard to, I guess, like, know exactly what the final look is going to look like. So yeah, work has been busy, but I have been meeting a lot of new great people. I've been making some very wonderful new friends. I've even been introducing some of my friends, and they all get along. They have all been getting along so far, which is really nice. Just so that, you know, my birthday's in March. If you watched my 21 by my 21st birthday project, you might remember that. I'm an Aries, so it's just nice to know that, you know, by the time my birthday rolls around, I might have enough people to really throw a little party. So that's very fun. I have been very inspired by Chelsea Fagan and her kind of having people over series and just like her book in general. And I've been trying to host a little bit. So I had some people over for like kind of a Friendsgiving type thing the weekend after Thanksgiving. And then next weekend, or maybe last weekend, depending on when you're seeing this, I'm going to be hosting a cookie swap party. I'm super excited. I've always wanted to host one. I'm a big baker, big baker, and I've always just like been so enthralled by the idea of a cookie swap party, because it's kind of like, I don't know, in my opinion, the perfect party. It's done around the holiday time a lot, but like I want a cookie swap party every month because to have you get to bake a batch of cookies and then get a sampling of like an array of cookies at the end of the night. And so, or you could buy if you're not a baker. But yeah, you get a sampling of cookies. I tend to lean towards baking because I just feel like homemade cookies are just so much better. I don't know. I've always just really been a cookie maker instead of a cookie buyer. Even when I'm pressed for time, I'm going to be throwing together my ready to go chocolate chip cookie recipe. I'm just going to go, actually, I'm going to do this off camera. I'm going to do a little bit of black eyeliner just smudged into my lash line and then mascara, and I will be right back. I'm also going to go in with a little bit of this Victoria Beckham Satin Cajal Jewel Liner in the shade Smoky Quartz, which is kind of a mixed metal shade. Like, I think of it as like a gold and silver. A taupey gold. I don't know if that makes any sense. And then I'm just going to go in with my Morphe Madison Beer palette in the shade Pisces on a really thin liner brush. Pisces is the gold that I'm panning in my Pan Those eyeshadows. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the gold right here. And then I'm just going to take this little brush and take the tiniest bit of Pisces again and go up in this, kind of like right above the fold of my crease on the inner corner. And some inner corner highlight. I tend to really like a lot of sparkle like this when I know I'm going to be in this setting like a restaurant where there's kind of lower light, and I think it just kind of, or like kind of ambient lighting, not direct full on light like this, because I think it just looks really nice in real life, I guess. Then I'm going to go in with, I think I'm going to go in with this Lorac blush. Nope, I lied. I'm going to go in with my Nude Sticks. It's technically a bronzer in the shade Sun-Kissed Cool, and a little bit of a stippling brush. I like to get some on the brush, go in the back of my hand, and then I've really kind of fallen in love with this color. If you asked me 6 months ago, like, what's your least favorite blush, this might have been it. I think I don't know, maybe whatever I was wearing at the time, it just wasn't blending as well over it. I feel like this almost blends better over powder than like on a completely fresh wet base, because it is more matte. And I also have one of these in the dewy formula in like a peachy color. I do love that shade, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I just kind of started keeping this at all times in my travel makeup bag and really have been enjoying it, and even been wearing it when I'm not traveling for work, so that's been nice. And then I'm still working on this Hourglass palette. I'm not officially panning it, but it's out. It's sitting right here with my other makeup, and I just never really put it away after my graveyard project pan ended. I'm just not painting any other highlighters right now, so it's been sitting out with my makeup. And then the one that I bring whenever I travel for work is Bubbly Bebe by Nude Sticks, which I don't know what it is about this specific formula, but when I wear it, I get so many compliments on my skin because it kind of has that like wet look shine to it. And it's because it is a little tacky still, like it doesn't dry down powdery. So maybe that's partially why it looks a little bit wet, but yeah, it looks very like I have a lot of hydration in my face even when I don't, and I've been on a plane and I hate my life. And then yeah, this, now that I have mascara and cheek on, this eyeshadow isn't looking as crazy as I felt like it was looking like 2 minutes ago. So I think I'm gonna go in with my Italia Deluxe lip liner in the shade Black Currant, and then maybe I'm thinking Retro from MAC. I'm wearing, I think I already said this, like a burgundy pant, and then this black tank top I've been going back and forth on, but I tend to wear the same tank top like over and over again. Not this one, like what was that, a crew neck one, and so trying to get out of my comfort zone. Plus I'll wear a jacket to get there.
So if I feel like I'm showing too much skin, I can always put my jacket on.
One thing I cannot fault the Hourglass packaging for is their mirrors are generous. I feel like after panning this ambient lighting edit unlocked multiple times, oh my goodness, and having it in multiple project pans, my thoughts about it are still the same. If you find one and you genuinely love every single color in it and you're gonna wear every single shade, it's not like the bronzer's too dark or light or one of the blushes you don't like. If you're gonna use every single shade, I think they're a pretty good value, because I panned it for 2 continuous years and still had a blush and a highlighter left. Then I continued to pan it for another 6-ish months and used up the blush, and now I'm probably going to use that highlighter for another 6 to 8 months. So that's like 3 years plus of product, because I had already used it a ton before I started panning it. So like from a cost per use aspect, pennies. And the packaging, yes, is now starting to get janky, but I think it's held up pretty well for how many travel bags I've thrown it in, etc. But when I look at the ones they've come out with lately, I can't say like I love every single shade the way that I did when I looked at that one, and so I don't think I'm gonna pick up any new ones anytime soon. I also have enough blush to last me like 40 million years, so not really necessary on that front either. I really love this MAC Retro shade. Okay, I think that's the completed look. I've rambled enough. I've done all the rambling that I could possibly do in one video, and that's really all I have to say. Thank you for your patience the past 6-ish months as I've been working out the new schedule of my life. And thank you for sticking around, for joining me, for all the supportive and loving comments, and even for the not so nice comments. Usually they're either funny or there's bad spelling, so I can laugh about it that way. And most of all, I hope you're having an incredible, awesome day wherever you are, and I hope I get to see you in a future video. Thanks, guys.